So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of this podcast. We at RGM have started this music industry podcast, delving into the grassroots music industry, finding interesting people to talk about their path within this fucking music industry of ours. That's a nightmare to negotiate our way through, but everybody's got a great story. And, ladies and gentlemen, the main reason why this is happening today is that you beautiful people of Twitter that talk to us on RGM and stuff, over the last couple of episodes, you've been tagging in this band who you think is going to be a good. And so no pressure. Liam and Pierce from The Claws. Hey up, boys. How you doing? We've made it happen.
What's happening, mate? Yeah. You set us up now for disappointment.
The people have spoken. They wanted you to be on the podcast. I've been seeing you on the socials. I would have got round to it anyway at some point. But yeah, thanks for joining us, boys. How are you doing today? You okay?
Good, man. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah, nice.
Bright and early.
Yeah, it is bright and early. I know you're getting off to a big gig tonight in Milton Keynes, so I know you've got a lot going on. There's a lot going on with the band, and it's great to see. But let's just have a little chat and get to know each other a bit. If you are watching on YouTube as well, do all the podcast. Give us a subscribe and comment on there as well. It helps things out, and it lets us know your thoughts on these things too, guys. I'm just getting the paperwork out of the way, boys. Let's crack on with you now, right? Then, so where do we find you two today? Then, so we've got Liam and Pierce. Where do we find you?
Oh yeah, well,
from Pierce's from Rio.
Yeah, live from the kitchen.
Nice. Okay, and where is the kitchen? What part of the world is the kitchen?
But we're Birmingham boys, mate. So just outside of Birmingham. And yeah, that's where we're all situated, all born and bred around here. So
Birmingham. I've never been to Birmingham, and I keep seeing all these beautiful bands that are coming from Birmingham I've watched over the years, like The Assist. I love those boys. I had those on the podcast.
Yeah, man, they're good mates of ours.
Are they? Oh, nice. Yeah.
We've been gigging in and around like them when we started, and they're all guitarists. Is our photographer actually. So
nice.
So yeah, they're all good boys, man.
Yeah, they are. Pagans as well. Pagans, SOH. Are you aware of those?
Yeah, they're
good. There's something bubbling in Birmingham, isn't there? Does it feel like it's exciting times? There's things going on in and around your own little bubble.
It does musically, yeah. But I'd say like the city generally, in terms of like the industry support, it's a bit sword.
Yeah, it kind of lacks.
Yeah, lacks that kind of support. You know what I mean? I don't think we've kind of got the heritage for the interest of kind of developers. It's good instead of other places.
Liam, when you face left, I can hear you perfectly, but I can't hear you when you speak.
When I was facing to Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll just say it to you all the time.
Probably because he talks out one.
Yeah, apologies.
Out one side of his mouth.
It's a weird thing that's happening with the audio, but yes. So you feel like the space around you, then there's not a lot of support for bands in a big major city like Birmingham as well.
I think it's more like you can kind of see it in the fact that every other city kind of, if you look at like festival season, they'll have kind of something in and around the city. Like, I mean,
in the car, aren't we? Like,
yeah,
Sheffield, like,
yeah,
and like Manchester's got Park Life and Neighbourhood close, and Liverpool Sound City and Glasgow Tramlines.
No, Tramlines.
No, Glasgow Transmit. Sorry. And then it's like here, it's just like consider it in the centre of everything.
Yeah,
I mean, there should be more, but there just isn't. So I'd say it's a hard city to break. You know, kind of from our experience traveling around the whole UK and meeting other bands and stuff. Like, I think they have a lot more support on the ground. Backed by the city a little bit more than with us.
Yeah, it's strange because like the people here are unreal, man, and like we've been lucky enough since we started just to have fans that just seem to just get behind us, because like everyone here is choking to follow something and be a part of something. But yeah, I think it'd be nice to see Birmingham kind of put on the map a bit more industry wise and people to make a fuss about it, because like as you said, there's so many good bands that are coming through from here at the moment and have in the past. So hopefully that's one for future, but I think it's always been kind of like a little goal of ours to kind of to do that and kind of and bring about a scene here. So whether we are, it's that's up for people to decide. But
Well, being from Sheffield and living in Manchester now, I've seen how much good the Tramlines Festival has brought into the city. It started off as an inner city thing, and now it's doing its own thing over in Hillsborough Park. Manchester, you're right. It's got the park life for the kids up at Eaton Park. It's got that kind of stuff going on, but it does have a lot of inner city festivals as well that go on. Not as many as before COVID these days, but I'm sure that'll pick up again in time. But there does seem like to be a lot going on, particularly in Manchester. I know Sheffield's can be a bit hit and miss sometimes because the footfall in the city centre is not what it used to be as well. So that's a big thing for Sheffield. But what physical things do you see in Birmingham? Talk me through that because I'm fascinated to understand a bit more about what it's like in the real world there.
How do you mean? Sorry, like physical things?
Yeah, well, like footfall for gigs. Do you find it difficult selling tickets in your hometown? Is there opportunities there to get onto the main stages in the bigger venues? Is there fans that you see following a certain path that you know?
I think to be fair, we've been lucky in the fact that we've never really like struggled to sell tickets. Like when we've done gigs here, like we've always stepped it up every time since we started, and we've always had kind of people behind us to sell it out. But you kind of see when it's strange because, as you said, we're technically the second city, but you'll see big touring bands that will tour the UK and just miss Birmingham out completely because notoriously, like it's hard to sell tickets here, which like it is strange because there's so many people here and like there's a good scene bubbling, but it's one that if you chat to people here and like people who are involved in the industry, like no one can really put their finger on why, but like I mean, I kind of think it's just because there's so many different people here with different interests and cultures that sometimes it's hard to kind of put everyone like within the same bubble. Whereas like when you go up to Manchester, obviously there's such a big thing about like music heritage and people loving bands from there, and that's what the city's like known for really. But yeah, I think Brum maybe kind of just lacks that like little bit of like musical culture sometimes.
I think it's got it though, hasn't it?
It does have it, but it's
like the council and stuff don't celebrate it. Do you know what I mean? In the same way that other cities do. I mean, we're responsible for like Black Sabbath, and they played their first ever gig in a pub just outside New Street, which is based in our main train station.
Liam, mate, face left from me. The audio's terrible for some reason.
I'm gonna have to stare at you.
Because it's speaking out
Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you. So so you mentioned like Black Sabbath and that kind of stuff. That was a while, weren't it?
Yeah, I mean they played their first gig in a pub like just outside New Street.
Yeah,
and it's just sat there derelict. Whereas, say, if it was Manchester and Oasis played their first gig in a pub just outside of like what's that train station? Piccadilly, is it? Yeah. I mean, that'd be a fucking shrine. Like it'd be worshipped. Like, and it's just like the council just doesn't seem to be like as interested. I mean, to become like the birthplace of a big part of a music genre.
Yeah.
And it kind of be unnoticed. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit odd, but it's not only that. It's like UB40 and like Peace and the Twang in the streets, and do you know what I mean? It's not celebrated enough. I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you think of like Oasis, you think Manchester
immediately.
Yeah, but whereas if you were to think of like our biggest bands like Black Sabbath and UB40, you don't necessarily like immediately associate that with them being from Birmingham. Like even like Duran Duran were birthed here as well. Like, but you wouldn't naturally put two and two together. So I don't really know where that's gone wrong over the years. But I think, like he says, like I don't think Birmingham as a city, like council wise, makes enough fuss about the fact that we've got such a rich heritage, and maybe that's why like people might think there's a kind of shortfall here. But for us, we don't really experience that. We've only ever seen the good side of it, and like this is the best place for us. So yeah, like that's our opinion on it.
Yeah, so like, because you do see in the news where there was a lot in the news about the Birmingham City Council going bust and that kind of stuff. Are you feeling that as a community yourselves personally? Do you feel the the problems in society at the minute? What's around you politically at the minute?
Yeah, it's absolutely knackered. Like there was when we first started gigging, it was a long Digbeth really, and it wasn't really. It was just kind of a dingy place, wasn't it? With a few venues, and then like they've spent all this money like gentrifying it, and then they've just run out of money. So it's just like fucking roadworks and potholes and pubs you can't access, and it's just I think there's a sense of frustration a little bit around that whole area, which makes things like inner city festivals impossible for places like Birmingham. Yeah, so I'd say that's probably why.
Yeah, it's the same. Like, in reality, like, I know there's such a tough
economic crisis like happening everywhere at the minute, but for your second city council to go bust, it just shows how mad it is. Like it should never really happen. But as he says, like all the hotspots for pubs and nightlife and stuff is kind of all like it's ruined by like roadworks that haven't been finished in like 6 years and just projects that never get completed. So yeah, I think yeah, as you said, it kind of shows like the difficulty that like people are having and like we as a band that have toured the country, like seeing that like this can happen in a major city, like imagine like the tough times that people must be going through in some of the other towns that don't see as much funding, you know.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I had a bit of a deep dive into your tunes before the interview today, and just so you've got songs called "I Don't Care," "Fake It Till You Make It," "Hate the Player." I've been listening to them three on loop in the gym this morning, and they're quite outspoken titles, and it feels like you're pushing back against the norm. You're fighting back in your own little way through your music. Is that a fair assessment of what I've heard of your tunes? Does that feel fair to you?
Yeah, I think we've always tried to write like quite positively about the situation, in obviously more of a like pushing back kind of way. It's kind of like gonna sound really High School Musical, but like in it all together. Do you know what I mean? It's like kind of want to like be a voice against the kind of things we're seeing and sticking true to ourselves. And
so I think most of it is kind of centered around like, or some of it, not most of it, but it's centered around the fact that like, yeah, things are shit, but fuck it, we'll just go and have fun anyway. Like, like make the most of it. That's pretty much kind of like what we've been trying to do over our music recently, and beyond the stuff that we're writing and releasing next year. Kind of has the same kind of tone, and we've always tried to, like say something in the music that we write, and it's
you've got to fake it till you make it, and you, for fuck's sake, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Everybody, do you ever get like imposter syndrome and that kind of stuff? Like, being like you're on tour, you've got these gigs coming up. I feel it from starting RGM and trying to make something happen in my own little world. You kind of do get imposter syndrome quite a bit. I do personally, just by being a creative person and trying to make something that I want people to care about. And there's peaks and troughs within that journey. Do you ever get the imposter syndrome bug?
I think the only time that I've ever kind of had the imposter syndrome was when we did Isle of Wight main stage. Right. And it was like because like we're just four lads that just happen to be mates in and around Birmingham and wanted to start a band one day. Like we haven't been like put together by the industry or had like much support from the industry at all. So everything we've kind of done has been off our own back and just through hard work. So I mean, when we got that gig at the start of festival season last year, it was I remember just showing up and looking at the lineup, and it hadn't really sunk in. But like we were playing the same stage as Pulp were and Cortinas, and it was like these are bands that got us into music and like bands that we worshipped growing up. So it was a bit like, well, what are we doing here? Like,
it's more just like I think we feel proud. Do you know what I mean? And we're so like dedicated to it. Like we've been at it for a decent chunk of time and threw everything into it. So like all the successes and stuff, like we don't really have time to kind of worry about whether we should be there. We feel like the work alone makes us deserve to be on the things that we've achieved so far. And yeah, we're madly proud of the things that we have achieved, but we're a really optimistic band, and we always look, as soon as one thing's done, we're instinctively looking forward and seeing what we can do next. And I think that's kind of how you have to be a little bit.
I did see the name. I did see the name on the festival announcement. I thought, oh, nice one. It's great to see bands progress, and you can kind of judge where a band is on a festival poster with how they're getting on in the industry as well, in a way, can't you? You can see certain bands getting up that list quicker than others sometimes, and you think, how the fucking hell are they doing that? You never really know, do you? Really, you don't know. There's not just one person making a decision. There's loads of different people, and there's big committees of people that make these kind of decisions. Where do you think you guys sit within the music industry right now?
I don't know. It's
best kept secret.
I mean, we've always kind of found it hard to break through the industry just by having one conversation or someone pulling someone aside and saying, "Here, can you get these boys in here or on this tour?" We've kind of had to do everything in the hard way, in the sense that we've had to earn our way on rather than like kind of just walking on because like of someone we know. It's like it's always had to be like our numbers in touring that mean that we've kind of earned our place, really, which is kind of it's not a dig because I mean, if we were offered that support, it'd be great. We'd bit your hand off, but just sometimes, like for whatever reason, you might have to do things a different way. So I think that we're kind of proud in the sense that the industry support that we have at the minute has come from us just kicking the door down and just saying like you can't ignore us now. And yeah, but it's a tricky business to wander through. Like you said, when you're looking at like festival posters and stuff, and everyone's competing against each other. So eventually there'll be people that come through that have just good support behind them. And that's just the way the world works. So
you're always like up against it. Do you know what I mean? You're always like not like one step behind, but you're definitely like the shorter guy in a fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we've noticed that specifically more recently. I think when we started, I don't know if we just weren't paying attention, but it seems like recently there has been a big influx in kind of like industry supported artists rather than fan supported artists. It's like in our head it was always you get the fans on board and then the industry will start to help you out and then you work together. But I think more recently with a lot of artists and just the way the culture has shifted, it's like they're getting industry support to then get the fans. Do you know what I mean? So it's like reversed, it's flipped, which leaves like bands who've started from the ground up in quite a weird position to be in.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd class you guys as a fans based band then. So who would you class as an industry type artist?
I'm not sure. I think the perfect example of it, like, is I know shade on them, but it's wet leg,
Yeah.
So when I was supporting Harry Styles and this, just getting put straight into like arenas almost. It's like I don't really understand how that happens, but as I say, if that was us, we'd do the exact same thing. You're never ever going to turn down industry support because they're the ones making the decisions at the end of the day. So
I can remember trying to buy a ticket for Wet Leg though, and yes, in Manchester, which is quite a small venue, and it sold out quite quick. So I thought, oh, there's something going on there. And then, like a few months after, they played Manchester again and played a bit bigger venue, and they played a bit bigger venue. So I think this, and you're right. I don't know where the support comes from for people sometimes. I bought their album. I like the band. I just don't know. I've ended up liking the band, and I don't know how.
No, they're a great band.
As the industry like planted something in me to make me do it. Fascinating.
It's like it is rare that these big companies get it wrong though. In terms of, like someone or kind of 75% of the time they'll find a market somewhere and they'll do well. So
and they'll know like the algorithm that like artists who are from the ground up are forever just trying to work out. Do you know what I mean? Like they have the answer to the equation that everyone else is still trying to work out, so it makes things a lot easier, you know.
Yeah, I think you've got like bands like that do well and probably deserve to do well because they're good, but they'll get picked up early, and then like the other end of the spectrum, it's like a band that we look up to in terms of their journey and their attitude towards it, like the Raytons, who like just did it all themselves and just went like, we're just going to make it big enough that no one can ignore us, and that's what's happened for them now. So
I think it's definitely like a better story. You know, we're all like music fans primarily, and you know, being young and then you find a band that you love. You know, you want to find out everything about them. You want to find out how they started, where they rehearsed, how they're like coming back to Oasis again, played and King Tut's to 4 people and a record label boss was one of them, and it's 2 brothers, and stuff like that just makes for a great, like, credible story and stuff, which I don't know, I hope that doesn't get too lost as the industry evolves.
Because every great band has a story, like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what makes it a documentary.
That's why I do this podcast. Everybody's got their own. It's the exact reason why I do it. And I've had Johnny from the Ratings on, having a chat with him on the podcast before, and he's a perfect example. They haven't not had any help throughout the way. They are advertising that. They have had help on the way, but they are doing it all on their own now. And they're doing it their way. Did you see their latest promotion for the new tour when they get all getting on a plane?
Yeah, for Europe, yeah.
And there's like a baby with one of them's face and all that.
Yeah.
Just love it. But they've got so creative with advertising stuff and doing it their way that's lovely to see. There's bands like Inhaler, like the dad's out of U2, so they're always going to get a leg up, aren't they? You suppose. Like,
mate,
I can remember seeing them at Yes, and then next supporting fucking whoever.
Am I doing wrong, man? If our dad was Bono, we'd do the exact same thing. Do you know what I mean? Think anyone would? You know I mean?
My old man just wants to be Bono.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Bono fancy dress.
Well, just rewinding a little bit then. How did you guys get together? What was what was it like for you as kids before you even got into music? Talk us through your journey of actually meeting up and starting this thing.
Myself, Johnny, and Niall, the drummer and the bass guitarist. We all went to secondary school together, and we just started a little band in year 7, like just for a bit of fun, with like 3 or 4 other people from school, and we just loved it. Like ever since, I think I'm talking for myself. Like ever since I was a kid, like just wanted to play guitar, man. Like music was everything, and wanted to one day like just have a crack at it, not even like be successful, just like stand on a stage or write my own song. But then we kind of carried on up until we left 6th form college, and we just thought like why don't we have a crack and like play a few covers out in Birmingham and see if someone will put us on. And at that point we got Liam into the band, who went to school
Officially.
Yeah, we
kind of knew each other, but we met at the Birmingham Institute watching a local Birmingham band. And then ever since, we've just cracked on, writ our songs, put them out, and worked really, really hard. And then it was kind of a nice full circle moment last year, where the venue that we met at, the Outta Institute in Birmingham, watching a Birmingham band, we got to do the exact same thing, and we sold it out in December last year. So yeah, there's a really nice full circle moment, and all the hard work and building kind of paid off in that moment.
It's nice, that, isn't it? And when you said something earlier, Pierce, that I'm just going to ask you about. You mentioned you keep kicking the door down. What does that mean? Kicking the door down? What
just means? I mean, in the way I meant it was kind of just making yourself big enough that like people can't ignore you or push past you, and creating that much noise that it's like, okay, these lads are onto something here. Like we have to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, gig relentlessly, write relentlessly, and most of all, just enjoy the process and trust the process with it, which we've always kind of stuck true to. And yeah, it seems to be working. So I think we're doing something right.
There's a lot of bands take themselves really seriously these days.
Yeah.
I
don't think we're one of those bands.
Good.
Yeah. we're in it just because we love it, man, and like this is like our collective dream. So like, just want to go and do it. But yeah, I think there's something admirable about bands that kind of don't take themselves too seriously and are just kind of who they are, and that's when people fall in love with them, man.
Yeah, we're authentic, I think. You know what I mean? We're very very DIY. We're very like authentic and true to ourselves, and we just love each other most of the time.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, you know, it's kind of a common path for a band where, you know, they meet up, the mates, they have a few beers, they meet up at gigs, they do a few covers, things start to kick off, they start selling tickets in the home in the home city. How did you guys like get out of Birmingham in a way? How did you spread the word of the clause? How did you get past that next barrier in a band's
I think, funny enough, our first ever like out of town experience was Sheffield.
Oh, right.
We kind of set up like a social media and stuff, and like really worked hard on there, you know, putting our music out and stuff.
Yeah.
As you do, you get the odd requests. Like, can we come to Sheffield, come to here, even if it's like 3 or 4 people. And I think from the get-go, we never ever thought, oh, we'll wait a bit, we're not big enough. We just got stuck in and booked our own tour. And we did Cafe Tottenham. I don't think it's there now, is it?
Yeah, it used to be the Rocking Chair, Cafe Totem. It closed down, and the same people run Sydney and Matilda now.
Yeah, we've done there recently. We did Jimmy's. God, we sound well old. That's not there anymore. Do you know what I mean? We did Jimmy's in Manchester and Broadcast in Glasgow. And we just said, you know, this was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was just before COVID.
Yeah.
It was like, was it end of 2018?
Yeah.
2019?
Yeah, I think so. It was around, and we just did it, and we just got out and did it. And we played to not as many people as we can do now. And then I think because we're like a word of mouth band and we've got good energy and live and stuff, like I think it just kind of transposed, and they told the mates, and now we're in a position where we do well all over the country. And we're obviously really, really grateful for that, but it has come with the miles and the and the service stations and all the rest of it. So
you've just got to be prepared to lose a bit of money, just get out on the road and just do it, aren't you? There's no other way than that, and do what in the socials in those cities to try and, you know, shout about why you're there. I suppose that's.
I mean, to be fair for us, like the first goal for us was kind of conquering our home city, and like in our thoughts, conquering was doing like a 300 cap in our home city. So we did that, and then we thought like, oh, let's just go out on the road, like, because for us it was like a holiday, man. We weren't really thinking about like, oh, we've got to go and sell tickets because people are watching us and we'll be judged if we don't sell tickets. For us, it was just like, let's just get ourselves in a van, have a couple of beers, and like go and have a laugh and see some other cities. But I think we weren't really expecting for us like for anything to happen outside of Birmingham when we started. But when we got on the road, like I think those 2 out of those 3 gigs were sold out, and we were like, where have all these people come from? Like,
nice.
how do they know like that we even exist? But that was kind of just the start for us, and we were like, let's just give this 100%, and
we just doing it bigger every time, every tour. You know, I think when you get a certain amount of people in the venue, word travels a bit quicker. Like, kind of said now about like a 3-person rule, haven't we? Where like if you're one person and 3 separate people have kind of mentioned your name for whatever reason, like it kind of sticks to that person. Like they kind of know of you. Then, do you know what I mean? And we just try and like get all the people involved and just kind of make ourselves as wide as possible.
What was the first stage when you thought, now then, lads, it's happening for us here? Can you remember that kind of moment in your career?
It's funny actually because I think that kind of happened when we released In My Element, and it did really well. Like and then we actually got signed to Universal like shortly after that.
Yeah.
And we went and did a tour in and around that was like it was insane, and we capped it off at the end of the year in 2019. I think we did like a 600 cap. Was it 600? 600 cap in Birmingham, which was our like biggest headline show to date at that point. And then we thought like, oh, fucking hell, lads, like it's happening here, like we're in, like we need to just keep our foot on the neck and go. Like the label came in and picked us up, and we were like shit, this is like something we never dreamed of. And then a month after that, some virus started in China.
Okay.
And it kind of shut the world down, and the sub label that we were on and Universal, they ran out of money and folded. So we went back out on our own again and just but we didn't really feel sorry for ourselves. Like,
no, I mean there was a few times like that where we were like, as it was like, when's this going to go on for? Have we had our chance here? But like, probably the proudest we've been is that we persevered and have come out stronger and a bigger band. And yeah, I'm really grateful for it. Like it's been a mad journey. But yeah, I think probably most recently that moment was at the Institute, as I say, in December. And we just got to do the venue that we'd seen every band that we loved in. Do you know what I mean? Like from DMAs, like we've seen so many bands there, it's nuts. So it was great to come back to there, and we've done it ourselves, and we're in the works for even bigger now. So,
well, that big global bastard took the wind out of a lot of band sales. I know a lot of people. There were a lot of bands, particularly getting signed before COVID, that didn't end up signed at the end of it because for whatever reason. But you do. There's always a vibe about a band that makes it. There's always a drive about them. There's always like, well, we'll get through this, You do see a different side of people that succeed when things don't go to plan, I suppose. And it's the music industry, isn't it? There's always going to be twists and turns, and somebody's going to try and fuck you over at some point, and somebody's going to. What's the best advice that you'd give a younger band that are just starting out now, that see you guys as like, those big boys up there on the big stages?
we laughed about it recently, didn't we? We were like, when all these kind of things were happening and we were kicking on, we were like, oh my God, like this slimy guy loves me, like he loves us. You know what I mean? He's never gonna hurt us. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Happens to every band. So I think what we would say is like, stay true to your circle that you're in, and trust each other, and trust the process. And
you got
to let influence get to you.
You've got to get good people around you early, I think. When we started it, up until we released like In My Element, for like the first year and a half, of when we were going properly, like we didn't have anyone giving us advice at all. It was just us, and like we were making our own decisions. Like, yeah, we'll go with this person, like because like they can get us on with Arctic Monkeys tribute band, like and like we like no regret about it, but just as kids, like if you don't have any like proper guidance and advice, like you are going to make mistakes and do stupid things. But
tell me more about this slimy bastard.
Mate, I don't think we've got all day, like, you know what I mean? But it happens, and they are disguised in a way.
Like people, what were they promising you?
Oh, they had loads of stuff, like,
So, we'll get you
we'll get you in here, we'll get you in there, like we'll get you on with these, like these people will come down and watch you, like if you do this certain thing in with me.
Yeah. If you sell this venue for me and make me, you know what I mean?
As an 18-year-old, like
you're gonna do it.
You're thinking like, oh my god,
yeah, not to the point of like paranoia, but yeah, I'd say like think about what's in it for them. Do you know what I mean? Before you commit to doing it. Like we had obviously when we were kicking on in Brum and stuff, like everyone wants a band that can sell tickets, and you're like, oh, this guy, look, we're going to gig every week now. We're going to gig 2 nights a week in Brum, and you eventually just kind of like
I think
burn out a little bit. You go around in circles. So
we used to get put on like on every like support show that came through Birmingham, like that needed to sell like 50 tickets or something, because we'd just bring like just pals down and people who wanted to come and jump about, like, so we were kind of just used as that for like a year and a bit.
And you do that, and then you haven't like progressed in the year, have you? Because you just
supported people.
Yeah, you just running around chasing the tail a little bit. So
I think the main thing though, like if I was just saying to any like band that wants to start or is thinking about writing a song and getting out, going on the road, it's just go for it, just do it, like, because worst comes to worst, like it doesn't happen how you think it'd happen, but like I mean, we'll tell you, like if this band like finished tomorrow, like it'd be not one regret, because like the memories you make and like the people you meet and like the mates you'll have for life, like it trump any of that.
Yeah, not
of what it could have been. So
no matter what happens, the records that we've like physically put out into the world and stuff, even if they've gave one person a great night, a great memory, you've left your stamp on what you always wanted to do. So do you know what I mean? And we get mad stuff like people who've recently got tattoos of us and stuff, like, do you know what I mean? And they come to every gig, and it's like, if you make it,
it's too far, that, isn't it? Surely, does it?
Well, it'd be like in 10 years, we'll be looking at their they were
looking at their right arse, think, like, why the fuck did I do that?
Yeah, what we're gonna let Johnny do that?
That's funny. So well, I know you've got this gig tonight. You've got a few gigs coming up. You're supporting the lottery winners. We've had them on the podcast before. I'm going to go and watch them at the Apollo in Manchester.
Yeah, man, they're great.
Are y'all playing that one?
Nah,
I don't think we're on
that one.
But yeah, that'll be a massive gig for them. A fair play to them, because I mean they're another band that are just relentlessly like.
Yeah.
I mean they've been going for ages, and it's like their success now is just down to their hard work, like, and determination, and that's kind of what we look up to as artists, in terms of like that's where your effort's got to be to achieve stuff. So
yeah, I think it's worked for that band. I don't think they've ever said no to anything. It feels like they're always playing. They're always doing something. They're always making videos. They're always doing something. Even through lockdown, the busiest band I've ever seen. Nothing's going to stop them bastards. They need to be. Have you played with them before? Or
that ratings tour.
Okay, nice. Okay.
They were on that, and that's kind of how we just become really good friends, because like they really looked out after us on that tour, didn't they? Like, because we were like the support band, we were often bunched in the same room, and then they're just like lovely people, and they just gave us like loads of advice and helped with the odd lead that someone had left at home and all the rest of it. So, we stayed in touch, and we've played them a few times over summer.
Yeah.
And just looking forward to getting on the road with them again, especially after their recent success and them doing this tour. It's all down to them. So we're just buzzing to be part of it.
It must be quite inspirational to see that, the Ratings got a #1 album. They'll get another one soon, no doubt about it. And all, lottery winners got a #1 album. When's it your turn?
Just us left on that tour now, yeah.
I mean, we will have one day, man.
Yeah.
We'll have one, but yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing over the past 6 months, and what we will be doing over the next 6 months is like finishing the debut album. Like we've already pretty much got one written, but like
it just has to be right, man.
I think we like still think like there's another good few songs here, and then we can pick from a bunch and and it's been coming that long for us that like we want it to be like as special as possible for us to look back on, and like I mean wherever it does in charting wise, like I mean we'll get a number one day, but like we just want an album out there and just to have that have our mark on the world and the music industry, and just build from there. But we'll start with the EP first and see how that goes.
You're gonna get that's it. You're gonna get a chance to practice anyway because your debut EP Pop Culture is out soon. You can pre-order it on the vinyls now. Within the link of the description of this podcast, wherever you're listening to it or watching it, there's a link to press on it as well. If you want to get involved, there's no reason why you won't. So Pop Culture. Are you having a go at a certain kind of culture, or are you getting part of it? Where's the name come from?
It's kind of just like
it's all from the same script as the 3 tunes that you were saying you were listening to in the gym. It's just kind of a glance at the world we see in front of us, optimistically, but you know we're not aware. You know, it's not like Disneyland.
It's kind of, it was more of a bit of a playful thing, like rather than attacking like certain people. Like it's nothing as sinister as that. It's more of just a playful thing in observing like the world around us, and yeah, just kind of showing a little bit of our personality within the lyrics and the writing. I mean, well, that's what we've tried to do. Like, we might not have executed it at all. Like, that's up to you guys to tell that.
I'm sure you will have. But what fascinated me is that the Assists album, was it? What was the name of the album now?
Council Pop.
Yeah, a similar kind of name from bands from a similar kind of area. I just found that quite interesting. That it's a similar kind of, you know, you're on the similar kind of wavelength.
Yeah, I never even thought that actually.
Even like the enemy and stuff, like, you know, we'll live and die in these towns. It's all about, you know, being a fly on the wall in a place that's a bit odd.
Yeah, no, I like it. So, what's the vibe about the EP at the minute? Then, how do you plan for a big release like this as a band? You know, do you have a team of people that do your socials for you, or do you do it all yourself? I know we chatted on
Twitter. Mate, everything that you see on this EP, right down to the fact that the artwork was shot in my flat, is completely DIY, done by us. Like every post, like everything. So, you know, we're accountable for it, and if it does well, you know, we'll be proud that we did it our way.
Did you get any tips off the ratings or about that kind of stuff?
They just kind of said the same thing we've been saying on here. Just knock at the door, man. Write your music, stay true to yourself, and the right people will come to you.
Yeah. Well, lads, I know you're getting off. You got to get to Milton Keynes in a bit, and then where are you for the next few nights?
We're in Portsmouth with lottery winners tomorrow. We start that tour tomorrow, and then we got a day off, and then Preston on Saturday. So yeah,
miles in, you get some miles in, you're grafting. How do you not argue with each other when you're in back of a van for all these miles?
We do.
We don't know how to not argue with each other, but we know how to. Like.
Yeah, it's like
what do you bicker about? What do you bicker about? And then
mostly actually, we don't argue, but we just like can't stand our bass player. He's like a wasp. He's like a wasp in the van.
Bass players are annoying.
I'm only messing. We love him to bits, like, but if like everyone who knows him will know. Like,
we've all got our own traits, our own little ways. Do you know what I mean? And when you're put in a van that barely works, going from Minehead to Glasgow in the same sitting, you know, it's not all going to be daisies on the road trip, is it? Do you know what I mean? But we've never got to a point where, you know what I mean, we're not preaching about it within 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's all good.
Well, you know, I speak to many bands, and when you see the drive, the determination that you guys have got and that you've shown through COVID and getting deals and just moving forward with your career, you know, peaks and troughs throughout this music industry, you can just tell by the drive of a band that something's going to happen for them. And I think you've got that, guys. Yeah, you're driven. You've got the tiger eye. You're on it.
Yeah. We'll sort that guest list now.
Oh, nice one, mate. Sorted it. Nice one. Right,
we'll have that 10 quid after.
But yeah, I wish you all the best on the tour as well. Say hello to the lottery winners for us. All the best with the EP. We'll cover it and shout about it on our gem for you as well. We're really looking forward to hearing that. and we wish you all the best for your gigs and for your future in the music industry, boys. Liam, Pierce, thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you
very much, man.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.